Hola amigos. Today I will be reviewing Memories of My Melancholy Whores by Gabriel García Marquez. And this is going to be, I believe this is his final and latest novel, but really novella, it's really short. This is going to be the third Gabriel García Marquez I've read. I've read his two, most famous works, I'm going to say. I know he's got some other ones that are famous, but Love in the Time of Cholera and 100 Years of Solitude. And I definitely did not I liked Love in the Time of Cholera a lot more than 100 Years of Solitude. I'm definitely interested in reading more Garcia Marquez. And this book explains perfectly both why I want to read more and why I really don't. So essentially the plot of this is that there is a 90-year-old journalist who, on the night of his 90th birthday, calls up the local whorehouse and says, "Hey, I would really like for you to procure me a adolescent virgin to sleep with." And essentially there's this really weird love story between him and this 14-year-old girl who's a prostitute, and I don't think he sleeps with her. I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually. I mean, they sleep together, but he doesn't actually have sex with her. But I'm not saying that as an apologist kind of thing. I'm just saying I think that's what actually happens. And that's not really a spoiler. I mean, anyway. Garcia Marquez. Man, he writes in a really kind of beautiful, it seems really simple and provincial, and the telling of this tale, this yarn that he's spinning, but at the same time there's subtlety and a hidden beauty that's kind of it's almost like you found a pearl covered in mud, the mud's good because it's earthy and it makes you feel real and it's grounded, but at the same time there's these little, as you're holding it in your hand and you're kind of rubbing away some of the dirt, there's these patches of brilliance that shine through that let you know that it is really valuable, but it's maybe a pearl covered in mud's a bad idea. Something like that. A geode maybe. I don't know. But his writing has a simplistic kind of villager, provincial kind of feel, but then at the same time it is really beautiful and flowery and has a great movement to it. But some of the stuff he writes about is just so old school, and he has no real excuse. You can't not that it's a good excuse, but I don't think you can even really give him oh, but he was of his time, because this book came out in 2004. It's not it's not like it was 1800s, and he was really old when it came out. Sure, I'll give you that, but still, I don't know, it was kind of a weird situation. I think he kind of messes with people on purpose that way, writing him these characters that are really old, that hook up with really young girls, and some of that might be kind of wish fulfillment because he was an old guy, and I think he was kind of a player. I'm not exactly sure. Don't come after me, loyal GGM fans, if that's totally not right. My mistake. Just comment and let me know. I just imagine an angry mob of all these mustachioed men chasing me through the streets. That was vivid. So that's my problem really with this book. It's hard to really say anything. Again, it's kind of like Ethan Frome, if you saw that review, and that it's so short that by saying any real detail-oriented statements, I'm going to end up giving something away. It is written really nicely, but the subject matter is a little weird and a little funky, and I'm not sure it's justified. I'm not sure it's justified either just in an ethical or moral sense, and in the symbolism sense, in the symbolic sense. I don't know that the fact that she's adolescent does anything. He could have done the same exact thing, but made her, I don't know, slightly older, 23, and it would have worked the same. I think he does that. I think he works with extremes. It seems that way. He works very on the edges of things, very extreme examples of things, just, I think, to kind of mess with people. That's the sense I get when I read his stuff. So, definitely not... And this book was kind of hard to find, to be honest with you. That's why it's in this weird little hardback edition. And I think part of it was this... It's kind of his last thing. I don't think he was at the top of his game. And I don't think this is going to be a book that he's remembered by. It's going to be his other works that are going to last, stand the test of time. But this is an interesting look at something that's really short. Or if you want to... You know what, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to say, it's short, so you should get started here. I think if you want to get started with Gabriel García Marquez, read some short stories or go directly to Love in the Time of Cholera. If you don't like that, try 100 Years of Solitude. You probably will like that. I think you kind of like one or the other. I really didn't like... It was okay. 100 Years of Solitude was just okay. And it's got all this hype, and I really don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. But I still like the way he writes. So I'll probably end up buying some more of his books just to see... To round out. He's kind of enigmatic. Like, I don't think after reading 3 books... I think you could read 3 Steinbeck books and you know what Steinbeck is. And I think you can do the same thing with Hemingway. You can read... Not necessarily all the subtle layers of the things Steinbeck could do. And I think you could read 3 Hemingway books and you could really understand kind of the Hemingway rigmarole. I think you do that with most authors. You read 3 of their major works and you can really understand where they're coming from. Garcia Marquez, I've read 3 and I still have no idea. Like, I kind of do, but I feel like I don't. Like, I can't trust what I think. And that's really interesting that he can do that. But anyway, I would suggest picking this up if you're really into Gabriel Garcia Marquez, or if it's really cheap. Other than that, not highly recommended. At least in my opinion. If you disagree, or you have some insight into anything about the book, or about Gabriel Garcia Marquez, or you have any other suggestions about his work, or anything you want to say at all, I really appreciate all comments. Or direct messages. I really, either way, get super psyched about all that. And you can follow me on Twitter at Books and Beer, and I believe that's books_and_beer. I try to be funny, but I don't think it works sometimes, and I end up tweeting really weird stuff to my friends. So as always, have a good life and happy reading.